The morning everything changed. I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing insistently on the kitchen table. Its vibration rattled the chipped ceramic mug beside it, an anxious insect trying to escape. Through the thin wall, Mum and Dad's voices drifted sleepily, indistinct words sliding over the remnants of Friday night's Chinese takeaway still stacked by the sink. I shuffled over, bare feet slapping the laminate. The phone screen was ablaze with millions of notifications, tweets, Facebook tags, comments scrolling faster than I could blink. My stomach twisted as I saw the first pop-up. A video with my face frozen in the middle, mouth half open, eyes earnest and too wide. The caption screamed in capital letters, "Local loser thinks she'll make IT big, LOL." Other tags followed, each more scathing than the last. My demo pitch, nervous and vulnerable, had been sliced up, my voice squeaking as I talked about my dream, building a game. A real game, one that looked and played as slick as anything from the billion-dollar studios. One little clip, my hopeful, "I want to make something that changes the world," had gone everywhere. Soon the laughter flowed in. Friends from high school, people I hadn't spoken to for years, posted sarcastic gifs under my name. My cousin Emma's comment floated to the top, "LMFAO classic L, dream big sweetie but maybe not asterisk that asterisk big." By noon the jibes came quicker. Scrolled screenshots of my game design scribbles, old profile pictures, a resurfaced video from when I was 13, crying after losing a coding contest at school. A meme of me photoshopped onto the loser's podium had already racked up 2,000 likes, mostly from people in our suburb. I went cold. Sydney's summer heat pressed against the windows, but I wrapped my arms around myself, trying not to breathe too loud. When Dad came in, still in his work uniform, he peered over my shoulder at the phone. "What's all that?" he asked, voice heavy, rough with sleep. "Nothing." It came out too fast, shaky at the ends. He reached for the phone before I could hide it, his forehead furrowed as he scrolled, then he looked at me, disappointment lurking in his eyes. "You embarrassed yourself for the whole world." Mum came in, tightening her robes. "Elena, what have you done?" My mouth tasted of soap and bile. "I just submitted a demo for the competition." Dad dropped the phone on the table, "And now everyone's laughing. Your aunt called already, says she's cackling her head off. You couldn't keep that sort of thing quiet." I just wanted to, I tried again, but my voice turned brittle. Dad shook his head, already moving out of the kitchen with a dismissive wave. Mum sighed, arms crossed, lips pressed thin. "You have to be realistic, love. No one from here does that sort of thing. All this computer stuff, that's not a job, it's a hobby." I went back to my room with the taste of humiliation thick in my throat, everything inside me raw and exposed. For the next few weeks I barely left the house. If I went for groceries, I felt eyes on my back, heard snatches of conversations that stopped as I passed, the ugly familiarity of a viral joke turned local legend. People who'd never looked at me twice at the bus stop now smirked. Even at the tiny game shop one suburb over, Martin winked at me from behind the counter. "Hey superstar," he'd say, voice teetering between teasing and cruel. Eventually, I muted all my notifications, stopped opening social media. The world retreated to my small, windowless bedroom, the scuffed desk and battered second-hand PC my only companions. My workshop, Mum would tease, but with a sneer, I kept building anyway. Nights bled into mornings. The city's thunderstorms flashed against the blinds, lighting code lines scrawled on scraps. No money for proper software, so I pawned some old games and patched together free tools and engines. My ragged buggy, patched with hope and stubbornness, grew pixel by pixel. Still, my family talked to me less and less. Dad came home, ate, watched TV. Mum filled her days with Tupperware parties and Facebook Marketplace, only knocking once to ask, "Are you still wasting time in there?" My little brother joked about having to tell his mates that his sister was that meme girl. At Christmas, the aunts and uncles didn't look me in the eye. Months blurred, small humiliations cracking at my resolve. When I got sick, I overheard Mum muttering to Dad about stress from all that screen time. They mentioned uni, suggested applying to Coles. "Games were for children," Dad said. "Not a real job," he repeated loud enough so the house would hold the words. The worst was the night Emma visited. She knocked, holding leftover birthday cake and smelling of expensive shampoo. "I saw your pitch video again last week," she grinned, mean sharp. "You still playing at being the next Steve Jobs?" Her laugh echoed off the cheap wardrobe. I kept my voice even, answering, "Yeah. Every day." She surveyed my cramped little setup, the endless notes, scrawled diagrams peppering my wall. "Good luck with your fantasy world," she said, dropping the cake like a pity prize. I almost believed her. Each rejection email, jobs, competitions, tiny grants felt like proof she was right. Still, I kept going. The world moved on, laughter fading, only a faint aftertaste of pity and derision whenever I snuck out for groceries. My parents never asked about the game again. It ached every time their silence pressed in, but I kept working, sleeping in 3-hour snatches, drinking cup after cup of instant coffee. One night 2 years later, I hit submit on a rough, playable prototype for an indie publishing contest. I didn't expect much. The odds of discovery were so small I figured I'd send it out and delete the email, then give up. That's what reasonable people would do, but they wrote back, not just a mass rejection but an actual real response. Are you available for a call? We want to talk about your game. I almost threw up. I ran out into the backyard in my socks, dizzy under the sodium glow of the street lamp. The demo I'd pieced together from broken tutorials, online forum tips and sleepless nights, someone had seen potential in it. It started quietly. I took the call under the lemon tree, phone clamped so hard it left a mark on my cheek. It was a publisher from Melbourne, small but respected. She asked about my ideas, listened when I nervously explained why the story mattered to me. My voice wobbled as I promised I could deliver. Over the next months, they tested the prototype, gave notes. I rebuilt the game from scratch 3 times, each time closer to something real. I got a tiny grant, just enough for rent in a falling-apart shared flat in Redfern. I left home, packed my battered setup into garbage bags, ignored Dad's silence and my brother's eye roll. I burned through savings. Every day I walked along the harbour, air smelling of salt and promise, then worked until my hands cramped. Some nights I would pause at the supermarket and almost drop everything, the ache of being so close to giving up pressing on my collarbone, but the game grew. Characters walked, jumped and sang. The world changed, seasons and weather, colours shifting with night and dawn. I found an artist on Twitter, another dreamer ignored by her family, working in her parents' attic. We worked together message by message, drawing out beauty from nothing. Then, with shocking swiftness, things clicked. The publisher's devs loved the story, the press found the art style charming and distinct. Someone posted a GIF on Reddit, new Aussie indie looks wild, and it racked up tens of thousands of upvotes. Suddenly, emails came from streamers, reviewers, even one of the big Sydney festivals. For the first time, everyone wanted to hear what I had to say. The official release happened on a rainy Thursday, the opera house blurred in the drizzle, but my phone exploded with notifications before I'd even left the damp, sunken lounge in my flat. Reviews from overseas, players sending drawings of their favorite characters, a YouTuber weeping as the credits rolled. The publisher sent flowers, lilies and eucalyptus. I cried for an hour, remembering how the world once laughed. Mum called that night. She sounded hesitant, as if she wasn't sure what my name was. Your cousin says someone at her uni mentioned your game. I guess you really made something. I could almost hear Dad, sitting nearby but never picking up. Yeah, Mum, I did. She made a little noise, uncertain. Maybe you'll come for Sunday lunch again soon. I'd like that. But what I really wanted, what I needed, was to come home and show them all, the family, the neighbors, all the ones who'd turned their laughter into knives. I wanted them to see me. A few weeks after the launch, the Sydney Game Expo invited me to present, and not just a booth but a featured talk right on the main stage, sponsored by the publisher right downtown. They flew my name in bold type on their front page, my face out of that viral context now framed by praise. Streamers planned meet and greets. There was no hiding anymore. I called home. Mum, I'm speaking at the expo. Do you think you could come? Maybe bring Dad, Emma too. A pause. I'll see who can make it. I bought tickets for the whole family, every cousin, aunt, and even my little brother. I sent them over WhatsApp, no more hiding. That night, as I prepped my slides, sleep evaded me. I thought of that first video, the meme faces, the barrage of ridicule, and wondered if I'd ever stop feeling that sting. Expo day blazed hot and hectic. The city shimmered, sky erased of clouds. The center thrummed with bodies, a nervous, buzzy energy. Screens flashed, voices echoed. I moved through crowds, shaking hands, taking selfies, stopping for girls who said quietly, I want to make games too. Each time, my voice stronger. You can. The main stage was enormous, white lights casting shadows. My throat ached, legs shook, but I walked out carrying my laptop. The weight of years balanced on my shoulders. I saw them then, Mum and Dad in the third row. Mum's eyes shining, those same lips pressed so tight, but this time trembling not with contempt but maybe pride. Next to them, Emma, arms folded, face unreadable but not laughing. Beside her, my brother, slouched but alert, glancing up at the digital banners overhead. ELEANOR Sanders, DIAMS into reality. I heard the laughter again, a phantom echo, but I focused on the sea of faces waiting, thousands in the stadium seats and tens of thousands more online. My hands were steady. I told my story, every patch of defeat and hope, how humiliation gave shape to stubbornness. At the end, I said, I come from a place where people don't dream big. Where you're told games are for children, for others, but you don't have to believe them. I clicked play, the screen flared to life, revealing my game's prologue, lush, animated, alive with detail. Characters spoke in my voice, worlds blossomed, music swelling. The audience gasped. Applause rose, low at first, then mounting, rolling through the stadium like a tide. Journalists came, snapping photos. Fans surged forward, hands out for high fives, hugs, signatures. My publisher cried. For an hour, I was held up and spun around by strangers whose eyes gleamed with belief. But the scene that stayed with me happened later, just off stage, when my family found me in the bustle and cheerful chaos of the crowded expo hall. Mum pressed through the crowd, hands twisting her bag. Her voice shook. I didn't know it was like this. I had no idea, she said, blinking as if she could scrub away years of disbelief with her hands. I wanted to be angry, to throw every old sneer back at her, but I just nodded. It was always real for me, Mums. Dad stood a step behind, his jaw working up and down, unsure what to do. That was really something, love, all these people for a game. Yes, Dad. For something I made. He cleared his throat, eyes watering. You did good, more than good. Emma edged over, eyebrows raised high, mouth uncertain. You actually did it, Elle. I didn't think you would. I looked at her, remembered the cake, the imitation laughter in my old room. I smiled. Neither did I, but here we are. My little brother dashed forward, keen to be in photos. Can you sign something for my mates at school? He joked, but I could tell it was genuine, this clumsy olive branch. The crowd took selfies, tagged my handle online, this time with praise, layers of support drowning out the old jeers. We went to dinner on the waterfront, a strange, formal meal with Sydney's lights scattered outside the glass and the gentle shudder of the harbour ferries echoing against the windows. My father ordered drinks for all of us. My mother kept looking at me as if she might cry, or as if she was realizing she'd never really seen me at all. As we walked to the train, Mum caught my hand. Will you come round for Sunday? Bring your awards if you want. All right, I said as the city hummed above us, alive and strange but suddenly familiar. I returned to the old house in the western suburbs 1 week later. The suburb looked unchanged, daylight falling flat across the lawns. The local game shop had my poster in the window, Martin grinning sheepishly as I walked by. You've made the place famous, he said. Dinner was crowded, laughter easier than I remembered. My aunts demanded selfies, cousins begged for spoilers, Emma hovered at the edge, a careful truce in her posture. My brother had set up the dusty TV to play the game's prologue. The room, so often cramped with ridicule, now filled with pride. After the meal, I found myself alone in my childhood bedroom. The walls pulsed with old memory, dreams, humiliation, and finally, success blooming through every inch. I sat on the battered bed, knees drawn up, listening to the clatter of my family outside. My heart thrummed, not with vindication, not with anger, but a deep, surprising peace. I had come home. I was seen, finally, fully, and for the first time in years, I believed that was enough.